A power plug that has been used for a long time or damaged by rodents can easily develop cracks or wear in its insulation without you even noticing. Plugging it in just once in this condition may lead to electrical leakage, short circuits, or even serious safety hazards. Because of this, most people simply throw it away and buy a new one. But today, I am going to show you a simple repair trick that can bring what seems like a useless power plug back to life safely when done correctly. Before we begin, let me know where you re-watching from by leaving a comment below. First, I prepare a pair of scissors, although you can also use a sharp utility knife if that is more convenient. The first step is to cut off the damaged section of the power cord completely. Next, I carefully strip away the outer insulation to expose the wires inside. At this stage, it's very important to work slowly and only cut deep enough to remove the insulation without scratching or cutting the copper strands. Even a few damaged strands can reduce the wire conductivity and make the repair less reliable. Once the inner wires are exposed, I clean away any dirt or debris from the surface to ensure the best possible electrical contact. Then, using a knife, I carefully remove a small section of insulation from each wire, exposing just enough bright, clean copper for the next step. Notice that the copper strands remain intact, clean, and ready to be connected. By taking your time and paying attention to each step, you can give an old power plug a second life. Not only does this save money, but it also reduces unnecessary waste while teaching you a practical repair skill that everyone should know. After carefully preparing both ends of the electrical wire, I cut two short pieces of plastic tubing, each a few centimeters long. Overlook this small detail, because these pieces will become the protective insulation covering the splice once the repair is complete. Before joining the wires, I slide one piece of tubing onto each side of the cable. If you forget to do this step, you have to undo the entire connection and start over, which is both time-consuming and frustrating. It's a simple trick, but it makes the whole repair process much easier and gives the finished result a far more professional look. By the way, have you subscribed to my channel yet? If you enjoy practical DIY repair tips like this, please subscribe to support the channel. Your support motivates me to create more useful videos for everyone. Next, I secure both ends of the wire in a bench vise so they remain perfectly still while I work. Holding the wires firmly in place allows me to solder with greater accuracy and creates a much cleaner connection. You may notice that I simply twist the copper wires together the way many people usually do. While that method is quick, the joint can loosen over time, increasing electrical resistance, generating heat, and creating potential safety risks, especially when the wire carries a heavy electrical load for long periods. Instead, I use a soldering iron, solder wire, and a small amount of rosin flux to create a strong and reliable electrical connection. First, I heat the tip of the soldering iron, then apply the rosin flux to clean the copper surface and help the solder flow smoothly. Once the temperature is right, I gently feed the solder into the joint, allowing the molten solder to penetrate deeply between the copper strands. See the solder spread evenly, forming a bright, smooth coating that completely bonds the repaired section together. I repeat the process several times, carefully inspecting every part of the joint to ensure there are no gaps or weak contact points. Each additional layer of solder makes the connection stronger and more durable. When finished, the two wire ends are almost fused into a single solid piece, providing stable electrical conductivity and far greater mechanical strength than an ordinary twisted connection. By taking your time and following each step carefully, you can create a neat, secure, and reliable repair that is built to last and safe for long-term use. Once the solder joint has completely cooled and VE confirmed that is strong and secure, It's time to finish the outer protective layer. I carefully slide the 2 pieces of heat shrink tubing that I prepared earlier into position, making sure they completely cover the soldered section of the wire. Next, I use a lighter to apply heat evenly around the tubing. Within just a few seconds, the tubing begins to shrink tightly around the wire and the solder joint. This protective layer not only provides excellent electrical insulation, but also helps keep out dust and moisture while protecting the connection from everyday wear, making the repair much more durable over time. To add an extra level of safety, I wrap the repaired section with a layer of high-quality electrical tape. I apply the tape evenly, allowing each wrap to slightly overlap the previous one to create a neat, tight, and fully sealed protective covering. Once finished, the repaired section looks almost identical to the original cable. Finally, I gently pull on both ends of the wire to test the strength of the connection. Everything feels solid, with no signs of movement or looseness. I also perform a final inspection of the insulation to make sure every part of the repair is fully protected. At this point, the repair is complete. With just a little time, a few common tools, and careful workmanship, a power plug that seemed destined for the trash is now safely restored and ready for many more years of reliable use. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If you enjoy practical repair tips and useful DIY projects like this, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss any of my future videos. Thank you for your support.